All right, guys, now we're going to look at the number E. The number E, I hope you've heard about that before, possibly in Algebra 2. But it is a number, the number E. Let's go. All right, that's what E is. E is irrational, probably the second most famous irrational number in the entire world, other than pi. It's irrational because it never repeats, never stops, and yeah, 2.71828. You know, pi is like 3.1415, all that stuff. Well, there's E, 2.71828, and it keeps on going and going and going. So there's E. When you see E, remember, it is a number. It's not a variable, it is a number. All right, the first thing I'm gonna have you do is just find some values of E, and your calculator does it. Now, if you look down here on your calculator, I took a picture of the calc here. I'm gonna point at it here. Your E button is right above your LN. Okay, if you look at LN and you look right above it in the blue, it says E to the X power. So you hit your second button, hit your LN button, and the E will pop up with an exponent. It's waiting for you to type in an exponent. If all you want is E, you just hit 1, hit enter, and it'll say 2.71828. I punched in E cubed. There you go. That's 2.71828 to the third power. A negative exponent, remember, flips the E, which means it makes it 1 over E, which is 1 over 2.71828. Then it raises it to the 0.23 power, which makes it a decimal. And the third thing, I did E to the 0 power. And remember, anything, even E to the 0 power, always 1. Okay, so you can use your calculator to find the values, and that's going to be the first thing you do today. It should be pretty easy. Just practice using that button. All right, second thing we're going to do today is graph base E. Now, don't forget what E is. E is 2.71828, which means it's a number and it's bigger than 1, which means it's exponential growth. So we graphed these a few days ago, with numbers in there instead of E's. And every time it was bigger than 1, the graph went up. We always had an asymptote. Remember, the x-axis was our horizontal asymptote. We always went 1 above to get our first point. There you go. All right, now, the good thing about E is if you plug 1 into the exponent right there, you will get E to the first power, which is 2.71828. So I went to 1 and then 2.71828. And you can just draw your curve just like that. And that's your asymptote. Remember, your asymptote is there. The negative x. Don't forget our gesture. If a negative is inside, it reflects across the y-axis. And also what that negative exponent does, if you want to think about it this way, it flips it. It becomes that, which means all of a sudden I shouldn't put the exponent down there. Which means what it does is, now you have a fraction. And a fraction is exponential decay, remember. So again, asymptote, 1 above. Except this time I'm plugging in 1, 2.71828. You do negative 1, 2.71828. That's why the graph's going that way. Domain is all real numbers. It's going left to right forever. Range, y is greater than 0 because it never touches the x-axis. Okay, let's move it around a little bit. This one says f of x equals e to the x plus 3 power. The x plus 3 is in the exponent, which means it's going to be shifted left 3. It's not shifted up or down at all, so the x-axis right here is still your asymptote. My first point's always 1 above, but this time I got shifted left 3, so my first point is right there, just like we did last week. Now to find your second point, here's the deal. If you'll remember this, because I shifted it left 3, used to on those other two graphs I showed you, you could go over to positive 1 and you go up 2.71828. If you go 1 to the right, this time it's negative 2. Look what negative 2 is on my calculator right here. 2.71. So if you go 1 to the right, it's always going to be 2.7128. And you can just draw your graph just like that. That's a good little trick. Now, let me show you what I did. In case that doesn't make sense to you, I will allow you to do this. If you punch this in your calculator, y equals e to the x plus 3 power, go to table. Table is right above your graph button on your calculator. Hit second table. It will give you all these values. And all those values right there on the graph. I chose the negative 2 because it's right beside this one. All right, and now remember when we graphed them, we always go 1 to the right, go 1 to the right, and we'll always give you this. Well, there you go. If you go 1 to the right, it will always give you 1 for an exponent, which gives you e. Okay, so that's a good way to do it. Okay, this one's a tad bit more complicated, but not tons. All right, so what I'm going to do here, first of all, I have a 1. Even though the 1's written first, it's really outside. It's not in the exponent, so it's outside, which shifts it up 1. So the asymptote is going to be up here. It's going to be up 1. Like that. Now, another thing I'm seeing is it's a negative e. Remember, negative in the front means it reflects across the x. So my graph's going to be down here instead of up here. And if you want to, you could rewrite it like this. It's really this. Really have the plus 1 at the end. If you're going to write it that way to help you see it better, that's absolutely fine. And again, I'm expecting a point to be 1 above, but because it's a negative e, I'm expecting it to be 1 below. So I'm going to go 1 below right here. And I've already hit table on my calculator. Look what it says for 0. 0, 0, which is where my point is. And it's a negative exponent, which flips it over. So I'm really looking at this. Which means it would be decay, which means if it were on top, it's going to be like this. But because it's down here, it's going to be the reflection of that. So I'm going to go, when it's a negative exponent, I'm going to go 1 to the left. So instead of going to positive 1, I'm going to go to negative 1. And negative 1 tells me it is this. Now, the reason it's not negative 2.1, 2.182 or whatever, is because of that 2 in the front. The true is a horizontal compression. So what's happening is you're multiplying what you would normally get. And that's why I want you to use your table sometimes. So negative 1 is negative 6.3. I'm going to estimate that to be about right there. And then that's enough. I know what the graph, I know what the shape's going to look like. So I'm just going to draw my graph. It's going to come up through here, hit that point, and it's going to cannot touch the asymptote. So it's curving just like that. And again, the domain is all real numbers, left and right forever. The range is y is less than 1. Okay, your assignment's going to be on a Google Doc, I think, or Delta Math. Just check Google Classroom. It will tell you, or the website will tell you. If I like Delta Math, I'll do that. If not, it'll be another Google Doc. You're doing great. Keep up your good work, and have a great weekend coming up.